Alright, in this video I want to show how to make a mug kind of like this. It's very similar to some of the others, but I want to show you how to make it very simple simply using the Z modeling tools. So let me get rid of this one. First of all, let me drop out of edit mode here and Control N to clear my canvas. And then I'm going to start with a polycylinder here, so let me draw that out. I've got my toy plastic material on. It's somewhere in here. I kind of like it. So draw one out, hit edit mode, Control N to clear the others. Just rotate around and get it zoomed in. Just turn my floor on so I can get oriented to it. And then I'm going to come down to my initialize tab. Let's turn on polyframe so I can see what I've got here. I'm going to set my horizontal divide to 16, my vertical divide to 10, and that looks pretty good. Let me turn on the inner radius to pull that out till I get about the wall thickness that I want. Yeah, it's looking pretty good. So once that's all set, I can make a Polymesh 3D out of this, and then come back and edit it. So I'm going to go up and do that. Now to start editing, if you had a standard brush or something like that going on, and you want the ZModeler brush, which is what we're going to use to model this thing at the polygonal level, at the polygon level, I can click on here and go find it, the ZModeler brush, or I can press K and bring up my custom menu, and there it is, right there. So the first thing I want to do is add some edge loops in here to be able to add some additional geometry to it. So I'm going to mouse over one of these edges and press and hold the space bar and make sure that's set to insert single edge loop. That's all I really need. And then just mouse back over an edge loop. In this case, I want to set one about right there, so that the idea of making one of these faces, or making these faces roughly square, they don't have to be exact, but close enough. And then let's do that again down here. Let's make one about like that. So this one, or these, this row and this row are roughly square. So with that said, I'm going to mouse over a polygon and click and hold my space bar. Make sure I've got my action to QMesh and then my target to a single poly rather than polyloop. I'll show you how polyloop works in just a bit. So let's make some handle parts that kind of stick out. So I want to pick one of these flats and click and hold and drag until it looks like it's roughly a cube. Doesn't have to be exact, but yeah, that looks pretty good. And then I can click it again. Just click it, don't click and drag, and it'll do the exact same action. And I can do that to any of these. I can click it on this one, click it on that one, and then I'm going to click it on these to bridge them. And since it's pretty close there, I can just go back in and actually I may not need one right in there. I'm going to leave that off for the time being. See, and I'll add an edge in there if I think I need it. So now let's move these, or first let's get this thing rotated so, because if you're looking at it up here, you can see that none of these flats are orthogonal. So the points here are at the top front, or in the XY direction. So to do that, I'm going to rotate this thing around that center axis. So I'm going to turn on my rotate tool, and I'm going to click and hold on that and rotate it around till I don't see. Actually, let me undo that and get zoomed in on it. So used to drawing something else. Yeah, that looks pretty good. Let's move that handle in just a bit. Yeah. And now I can click and hold and drag till that thing rotates around. And what I want to just look for, make sure there's no kind of stair-stepping along the edges. Let's see if we can get there. All right, that looks pretty good. Yeah, so those look fairly straight. You can really zoom in. It doesn't have to be perfect, but pretty close. And so now, yeah, now I'm orthogonal to that thing. And also it'll help with symmetry if you need to turn on symmetry with it. So this next part, I just need to make some pieces down here for the bottom to have a little bit of a lip and add some of those ring details. So to do that, I'm going to come in and go over an edge and click on Insert. Make it about the thickness of how much I want to make my floor. And then let's add some in for the ring details. Let's see. Let's try one that's about, let's try about that high. And then another one. And then let's add 3. Of those rings like that. That looks pretty good. So now let's do some, let me turn the floor off so I can look under this thing. I'm going to add some polys or extrude these out to get the base of it. So this time, if I click here, I could go around and keep doing those, but it'd be tedious, so let me undo that. And that's why you can set this target to a poly loop instead of a single poly. So I'm going to set my target here to a poly loop, and that way it'll do the entire poly loop around this thing. Now, some things to think about or to keep in mind with poly loops. Let's see, let's zoom over one right out here. You see the little orange line that's kind of sticking off as I go around from the center of it. That sets the direction of the poly loop. So if it's going up like that and I click and hold and drag, you see it's doing that entire poly loop around that way. But if it's going to the side like that and I do it, now it's going the other way. And let's do one down here so you can see kind of, and that's the way I want to be doing it down here on this bottom part of this thing. So let's see, let's get in there, make sure that that thing's going out to the side, and then pull those in. And I want to make those roughly, so that they're roughly square within there, even though they're kind of tapering. And then I can just click it to do that again. And then I might be able to close it. I don't know if it closed or not, so I'm going to hand do this next loop. Just click and hold and drag till it goes all the way in, and that should close it. So now I just need to make my lip down here while I'm down here. So, didn't have the direction going the way I want it. Yeah. Pull that out a little bit. Yeah, that looks pretty good. And then these, to make those rings, I want to inset things. So I'm going to click and hold and kind of push in a little bit. Not too much. I don't want to go too far. That looks pretty good. And then I'll just click this next ring to get it all the way in. Now to take a look to see what's happening with this thing, which I should have been doing all along, I'm going to come to geometry here, and I want to turn on, make sure I've got dynamic subdivision on. So I'm going to click on that. Oh, and if you get this kind of nonsense about things that are wrong or stuff like that, and sometimes that happens, you can see it says do the fix. From the geometry tab here, or roll out, I'm going to turn on mesh integrity and just click fix mesh, and that should take care of it. Let's see if we can get it to come back now. Yeah, and that's good. And so dynamic subdivision is a temporary way to see what the subdivision is going to be like on this thing without actually applying it. In this case, I'm going to turn my smooth up to 4, so I can get a better sense of it. And I'm going to turn my perspective on, and Shift F to hide that. Yeah, so the last thing I think I need to do is move these edges, and this thing should be pretty good. Oops, looks like we had some hole issues in there, so let me undo some things. Let's see. I would bet what's happening is that there's some points in there that need to be welded. We can try with the modify topology to weld points. See if that helps. Yeah, that seems to have gotten it looking a little better, although I can tell there's something up right there, but I don't think it's going to be an issue in this case. And let's see, let's make sure that my dynamic is turned to 4. Yeah, and that everything looks okay. Yeah, all looking good there. And it would probably, if I dynameshed it, it would probably be okay anyway. So we'll turn my perspective off, turn my dynamic subdivision off, and turn my polyframe back on. And I want to move these edges of these corners on that handle in a little bit. So let's see, let's get zoomed into there. Mouse over an edge, press and hold the space bar, and this time I want to switch this to move. And then click and hold and drag on that. Now you see, if I do this, I run the risk of moving it out of plane like that. So let's undo that. But if you start moving it and you hold down the shift key, now it's going to slide it along an edge. And then if you do it again and hold shift, you can move it in. So I want to move it in about like that. Yeah, it looks good. It's starting to round off. And let's do that with the space. Start moving, hold shift, move it in a little bit, hold shift, move it in a little bit. Yeah, it's starting to round it out. Now I could come in and switch this back to edge loop, or switch this back to insert. Now I could add one in there and then maybe move that ring out. Let's see, let's switch to move. And yeah, the only thing about move is it only does a single edge, so I'll probably have to do this with the move tool and masking. So I'm going to hold control, I'm going to mask just that loop, and then click out here to invert it, press W to get my move tool, draw out a move line, click and hold that to move that out, round that out a little bit, and then clear my mask, press D, it's the hotkey for the handle, P, and it's looking all right. Yeah, it's a little bit angled, I'm not real happy with that, so let's see if we undo, let's try undoing that. And let's clear our mask, press D. Yeah, I think I kind of like the squared off one a little bit better. Okay, I hope this helps. Oh, perfect timing.